In 1453, the Byzantine Empire was a shadow of its former self. The great city of Constantinople, once the center of the Christian world, had been shrinking for centuries. By the time Sultan Mehmed II brought his army to its walls, the empire was already dead. But Constantinople didn't go quietly. 80,000 Ottoman soldiers faced only 7,000 defenders. The walls of Constantinople had held for over 1,000 years. They didn't break easily. The siege lasted 53 days. And when the city finally fell on May 29, 1453, it marked the end of the Middle Ages and the beginning of the modern era. This is the story of the siege that changed history. Let me take you to Constantinople. The city was built by the Roman Emperor Constantine in 330 AD. It was the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire. For over 1,000 years, it had been the center of the Christian world. Its walls were legendary. They had repelled siege after siege, from the Persians to the Arabs to the Bulgars. But by 1453, the empire was bankrupt. The population of the city had collapsed. It's estimated that at the time of the siege, only about 50,000 people lived there, in a city that could house nearly 1 million. Emperor Constantine XI knew he was outnumbered. He sent desperate appeals to the Pope, to the Italian city-states, to anyone who would listen. He asked for men, for ships, for money. They sent little. The West had already given up on Constantinople. On the other side, Sultan Mehmed II was young, just 21 years old. But he was ambitious. He had already consolidated power in the Ottoman Empire. He wanted Constantinople as his capital. He wanted to make the empire a world power. Mehmed knew the walls would be the biggest challenge. He ordered his engineers to build massive cannons. One of them had a barrel 8 meters long and fired cannonballs weighing over 1,000 pounds. It was the most advanced weapon of its time. On April 6, 1453, the siege began. The Ottomans set up their siege lines. They began bombarding the walls with their cannons. But the walls held. The Byzantine defenders, just 7,000 men, fought with incredible courage. And here's something you might not know: the walls were not just one line of defense. There were 3 layers of walls: inner, outer, and a moat. The outer wall was more than 5 meters thick. The inner wall was over 11 meters thick in places. The Byzantines repaired the walls every night. They would fill the gaps with rubble and wood and stone. They used their own bodies to hold the breaches. And the Ottomans kept pounding. For 53 days, the siege continued. The Ottomans tried mining under the walls. The Byzantines countermined. They tried scaling the walls with ladders. The Byzantines threw Greek fire at them. They tried forcing the city's sea walls. The Byzantine navy held them off, but the Ottomans had an ace up their sleeve. Mehmed had his ships dragged overland, across the hills of the Golden Horn. He bypassed the chain the Byzantines had stretched across the harbor. The Ottomans suddenly had access to the city's sea walls. On May 29, 1453, the final assault began. The Ottomans attacked from 3 directions. They struck the sea walls, the land walls, everywhere. Thousands of Janissaries, the elite Ottoman infantry, surged forward. They broke through the walls at one of the gates. Byzantine Emperor Constantine XI reportedly took off his imperial regalia and fought alongside his men. He died in the battle, somewhere in the streets of his city. His body was never found. The Ottomans poured into the city. And for 3 days, they pillaged and raped and murdered. The Hagia Sophia, the great cathedral of the city, was turned into a mosque. The Christian world had lost its capital. The fall of Constantinople was a disaster for Europe. It cut off the land route to the east. It forced European powers to look for new sea routes, which led to the Age of Discovery, Columbus, and the New World. It also brought Greek scholars fleeing to Italy, bringing with them ancient Greek and Roman texts, helping to spark the Renaissance. So let me ask you something. A city that had held for over 1,000 years, with walls that were considered impenetrable, fell in 53 days. The last emperor died in battle. The greatest city of Christendom was lost forever. What if Mehmed hadn't dragged his ships overland? What if the West had sent help? What if the walls had held just a little longer? History is full of what-ifs. But one thing is certain: 1453 changed the world. The Middle Ages ended. The Renaissance began. The Ottomans became a world power. And the memory of Constantinople, once the greatest city on earth, faded into memory. This is Lost Timeline.